What's going on, everybody? Dominic back with a super exciting video today. I've been wanting to make this video for a really long time. I just haven't had the chance to actually run through it. Today, we are going to talk about how to leverage AI to create customer avatars and completely revolutionize your Shopify store and e-commerce game. This process is exactly what I use to start off and kick off all of my partner accounts that I work with. It is probably the most powerful thing I do, and I don't really think there's anything like this on the market. Now, the reason I've actually been holding off on this is I want to make a full in-depth course in this and actually add it to my website and sell it for a minimal price point, but it is extremely powerful. So today's video is actually going to preface that course. It's going to teach you guys exactly everything I do to create these AI customer avatars and scale the crap out of my partner accounts. Without going into too terribly much detail, obviously, because this course is going to be probably more like 3-4 hours long, where this video I'm hoping is like 20 minutes. But if you don't know who I am already, my name is Dominic Mayu. I own an e-commerce agency called DM Corporations, where we help Shopify-based e-commerce brands scale to millions of dollars of profitable revenue. And like I said, this is one of the most powerful tactics that we use. This is one of the first things that we do when we sign a new elite growth partner account is leverage this AI to build extremely advanced and detailed customer avatars. So without further ado, I suppose let's just get right into this. Again, this is going to kind of be the bones to this process. If this video does well, leave a comment below if you'd be interested in a full in-depth course where I go into every single detail on exactly what I do and maybe even show examples as I go through it. So if that's something that you think you'd be interested in, definitely leave me a comment below so I know to start working on that course. Now, again, this is going to be the bones, so I'm just really going to break down this whole structure at kind of a top level overview. And yeah, hope it helps. So the first step is obviously data gathering. Okay. So what we want to do is gather as much data as possible to feed it into these AI machines. Okay. So the first step is just going to be getting as much of this together as you can. Now you're going to need access to a few things. First is going to be your reviews. Second is going to be Google Analytics, Shopify reports, or any other data gathering tool you have, anything like Triple Whale, Elevar, anything like that. And then a Typeform account is highly recommended, and I will discuss why. So first things first, it is super funny how great of a response this little piece gets when I talk to all of my new partner accounts. And I'm just going to show you how I do it. So one of the first things we do is a big review export. Okay, so we go to their review app, and pretty much every single review app on the market allows you to export the most recent reviews into a CSV. Now, if you're a big brand, you have like 7,000 reviews. You don't need to export all 7,000. I would just export up to 500. Really, like the most recent 250 will work. Now, if you don't have any reviews, if you're a brand new brand, you can skip this step. But if you have any reviews at all, you definitely want to do this. Now, the first step is just getting into that review app and exporting those reviews into a CSV. Second step is just cleaning that CSV up. Okay, so all we want is the name of the reviewer, the title of the review. So some review platforms have a title, some don't. The title would be like amazing product or, game changer, things like that. And then the body review. Now you want to delete all the other rows. You can delete the timestamps. You can delete any other, random crap that it throws in there because it'll end up being like 12 rows in that CSV. We only want those 3. And then you want to label this CSV as AI review export. And then just save that to your computer and move to the next step. I would pause this video right now and do that step and then come back. Now, the next step is a big data write-up. Now, this piece will take about an hour. I want to be fully transparent. This is going to be the longest step of the entire process, but it is super important. And the beautiful piece with this step is you are going to learn a lot about your business, and it's probably going to give you other ideas as you're generating this sheet. So what you want to do is head into Google Docs and create a new doc and label it AI data export. Okay. Then what you want to do is get in the mind of a data analyst. Okay. You are a data analyst. And what you're going to do is go through these accounts, whether it's Google Analytics, whether it's Shopify reports, whether it's Elevar, Triple Whale, or all of them combined, ideally, to gather and write down as much data as you possibly can. Very clear. Now, remember, you're going to feed all of this into AI. So you want to make sure everything is labeled and everything is super clear. So some examples below can be demographics, right? And don't underestimate the value that this has. You can go in to your Google Doc and say, 26% of our users are aged between 18 and 28. Maybe 45% of our users are aged between 18 and 48, or between 28 and 48. So that 20-year gap. And then, 60% of users are male, 40% of users are female. Then look at the conversion rate, right? Say females convert at 3.48%, males convert at 2.16%, something like that, right? Even same with the ages. Like, this is our top performing age group, and maybe it's 65 plus, right? 65 plus converts at 4.6%. The average conversion rate is 3.1%, something like that. So just as many demographics as you can, location as well. Maybe your best states, your top performing states, cities, anything like that. Don't leave any data out. Take a good hour to really just write all of this out. You'd be shocked. You can get a lot of data out in an hour. Really, this might only take 20 to 30 minutes, but just don't skimp on the data you're putting here. The more data that you add, the better that this AI is going to be. Now, next is your top selling products, right? Your top landing pages. So what are the top pages people are landing on versus what are actually the best converting landing pages? Because a lot of the times those two don't correlate. Your bounce rate, your top searched terms, right? What are people actually searching into your search bar? Time spent on page, just as much data as you can. Now, again, you want to get into the head of a data analysis when you're breaking this down. Even if you don't know how to use Google Analytics, literally just go through each tab, right? I mean, I would say there's probably a total of like 45-ish reports that you can even look at in GA before creating custom reports. And you don't need to do that for this step. And then just, write it down in that Google Doc and get this as long as you can with relevant data. Shopify reports works, all of this stuff. Now, once you have that, again, make sure it's labeled AI data export. And then again, just keep that tab open and move over to the next step. Now, here is another amazing, amazing recommendation. I'm probably going to make a whole video on this step separately because this is probably the second most powerful thing I do for all my clients, and it's kind of combined with the first, but I'll quickly break it down here, and that's post-purchase polls. Now, post-purchase polls are one of the most powerful and effective ways to gather data from your audience because it is literally your audience that's answering these questions. Now, sure, we can look at data, we can, create hypotheses, we can do what we can to build this customer avatar, but there's nothing like literally asking people who purchase your products questions because that is going to be the most accurate data you can possibly find. So you can do this in two ways. I usually do option one just because that's how I like to set it up, but option two works as well. So option one is creating a survey in Typeform. So I would head over to Typeform. I think it's like 10 to 20 bucks a month. It's not super expensive. And then what you want to do is create a survey with 3 to 7 questions. Okay, so here's some example questions. I typically ask these 3 every single time, and then I'll have some brand specific ones, but you can see how these help so much when you get this data back. So first is, what was one thing that almost stopped you from buying? This is going to give you objections and pain points. What specific aspects made you buy our product? This is going to give you what they enjoy about your product, why they bought the product, so you can push this harder. And then what questions do you have about our product or brand? This is really just going to be, what questions does your website not answer? What questions do your ads not answer, right? Like, why did they order without these questions being answered, etc. There's a lot of different things you can ask here. I would definitely ask these 3. And then I'm going to show you what to do with these in a little bit. But like I said, I'll probably make a whole video just on this piece separately because it is just so powerful. I mean, you can imagine, I'll just give you one example. One split test I've ran in the past is basically what we did is they're a big company. They did about 5,000 orders a month, and they had about a 10% response rate. So they were getting about 500 responses a month, which is a lot to go through, but AI made it much easier. And what we did is we took the top 3 patterns for what one thing that almost stopped them from buying, and then the top 3 patterns that that made them buy, right? So what are the top things that made them buy versus what are the top 3 things that almost made them not buy? And then we created a new product description highlighting those 6 things. So we highlighted the top 3 specific aspects that made them buy their product. And then we highlighted the top 3 objections and concerns that they had and split tested that against the original. We saw a 90% conversion rate lift from that one test. It was a multi-million-dollar test. I wish I could provide more examples. I want to make a video for this test specifically, but they're one of my partner accounts that we have a very intense NDA signed. But it was, I mean, a multi-million-dollar split test that we ran strictly from this. Okay, so super powerful. Not to get too off track again. If you do want a video on this specifically, again, leave a comment below. It's just so I know what you guys want here. But what you want to do to actually get people to fill this in is you want to send it out a week or 2 after purchase. It doesn't really matter if they actually have the product in hand or not. Typically, I would recommend that they have it in hand, but it doesn't really matter because this is more website questions. And then what you want to do is offer them a discount or a gift card on completion. Usually, I use a gift card, like a $10 to $20 gift card back to the website. The other beautiful thing about this is it actually gets them to come back. It increases your returning customer rate. And then understand less than half of these gift cards are actually going to be used. And when they do come back, typically they're going to spend a lot more money than just the gift card you gave them. So this is extremely profitable as well, which is really cool. Now, the other way you can do this is creating a quick survey that just shows on the thank you page, right? So after they purchase and they head to the thank you page, just asking like 1 to 3 quick questions. You can set this up through Hotjar. Like this is more, what this picture is. I don't usually do this because the responses aren't nearly as good, but that's another way to do it as well. All right, well, let me scroll. Here we go. Now, you don't need these responses because obviously if you haven't watched this video before, chances are you don't have a post-purchase poll running. But what I would say is get this integrated as soon as possible. You don't need this to create the AI customer avatars, but it is going to make them much better and just give you amazing, amazing data. So I would set these up literally today, but you can keep moving forward with the AI aspect. As these are generating responses. And then once you get about at least 10 responses, then you'll want to import it into the existing AI that you've already created. All right. Oh yeah, this is just a quick piece. Again, if you have any other data sources, if you're using like Triple Whale or Northbeam or Elevar or anything else that you can just leverage data on your customers, feel free to use that, right? There's no data that, is wrong. Like any data is data. So just add it into that data sheet that you created. Don't be scared to just add a ton in there. Now that you have all of these data points, what you want to do is input them into our custom GPT wizard AI bot. Now, I do have a extensively trained AI CRO wizard that I built through GPT that is completely free for you guys to access. So I'll make sure that link is below. Head to that link. All you have to do is put in your email and you'll get full access to this GPT. You do need to be on GPT Plus to use this because it's built on GPT 4.0, which is their most recent version. If you are not on Plus, you can input all of this into just your own 3.5 bot. But I will say the results you're going to get are not going to be nearly as good as the CRO wizard that we've trained. Plus, just 4.0 is so much better. I use GPT every single day for so many purposes, and 4.0 is so much better. So it's worth the $20 a month investment for Plus. Let's see, where am I? But yeah, so basically what you want to do is input each step one at a time, labeling what it is for the bot to fully understand. You have to understand that, the more that the bot understands what you're giving it and what you want it to output, the better it's going to be. So here's a quick example prompt is, I'm going to enter the last 200 reviews my company has received. Please deeply analyze these customer reviews to find patterns in language so you can help me develop a customer avatar in the future. This is data point 1 of 4. Now, you also want to cap this so it doesn't give you the avatar right away. So if you say this is data point 1 of 4, and then maybe the next one is now I'm going to, input a bunch of data that I generated from Google Analytics and Hotjar about our customer demographics and just random data points. Again, please analyze this. This is data point 2 of 4, something like that, and then just continue inputting it. Now you do have the ability to input files into GPT. And I would recommend doing both. I would recommend taking that CSV of that review export and literally uploading it as a file, but then also copying the entire section and just pasting it into one giant mess. The AI will break that apart, so it doesn't need to be super sorted. I recommend both because it can pull from the files for future purposes, but I've noticed that when you actually message it, it seems to be a little bit more clear on exactly what it's doing. So I'd recommend doing both and just blasting all of this in there. And then once it's in there, simply ask it to create your customer avatars. Typically, I create 2 to 3 customer avatars per partner I work with. And that CRO bot that I've trained already has a super amazing template that it's going to spit out for you. So yeah, now that you have it, oops, I didn't mean this. I just meant this to say using the customer avatar. What do you actually do with it, right? So there's a couple things. You obviously want to take it, literally print it out, and put it above your desk, okay? Every single thing you do, you should reference this customer avatar before you do it, okay? You want to name this customer avatar. For example, Bill, right? Anytime that you are writing an email, launching an ad, creating a new product, writing copy for your product description, anything, you want to look at Bill and say, will Bill resonate with this? Bill's also going to give you a ton of ideas on content to write and content to use. Okay, so that's really the first piece is you want to study this avatar and understand it so much. You want to understand their needs, their pain points, their desires. So you can create these visual representations of your UVPs that are both aesthetically pleasing and relevant to their interests. This goes back to the UVP icon test that I was talking about earlier with the post-purchase poll or the post-purchase survey, right? Addressing their specific needs will do wonders. Okay, I mean that's everything. Answering their questions, addressing your UVPs, not only your UVPs, but the UVPs you care or the customers care about. Typically, I find, and I'm definitely a culprit of this too, is a lot of the UVPs that I think are super powerful. After we run all this data analysis, I find our customers don't give a shit about those UVPs and they care about something totally different. And that's what this will allow you to do. Okay. So then what you want to do after you have those avatars is you now have access to this AI bot. Use this bot to help you write all of this stuff. Use this bot to help you write the descriptions, write the emails, write the ads, address pain points, add UVPs, design the website, etc. It can do wonders. Now, by the time this video is coming out, I don't know if this will be ready or not, but my team and I are working on an extremely, extremely advanced CRO bot. Now, we are going to be releasing this for beta testing hopefully here in the next month or so. This is going to be a small paid subscription, but holy cow, it's blowing the other one that we built out of the water. It is just phenomenal. It can completely analyze all data points. It is wicked how powerful it is. It's actually, we're building it to replace CRO teams and CRO agencies. So definitely stay tuned for that. If that is out by the time this video comes out, I would highly, highly recommend using that over this custom GPT bot. We are going to keep it extremely affordable, but this GPT bot, is definitely pretty badass too. So after you have all of that, just continue refining the customer avatar, right? Typically, I do this every maybe 3 months, maybe a little bit more often, maybe a little bit less, give or take. And what this is really just implementing new data points, right? So maybe you have some new top sellers, maybe you have new survey responses, new reviews, and just kind of refreshing it every once in a while, just so it maintains a deep understanding of your business and the target audience. It's super important to just kind of continuously refine it, right? You don't want to input all this information and then just never input any data again, for years on end, because data changes, right? Data stays. You want to keep it as relevant as possible. Yeah, even if you're doing this on a monthly basis real quick, it's highly recommended. So, yeah, that's this video, guys. I hope it helped. Again, this is really just a top level overview. Definitely let me know if you want a super in-depth course walking you through this entire piece and exactly how I do it, because I can take the time to build that course. Also, let me know if you want another video just talking about the post-purchase poll specifically. And let me know if you'd potentially be interested in beta testing our CRO bot that we are building. So, yeah, I hope this helped. If you are an e-commerce brand that's built on Shopify, that's doing at least $10,000 a month in revenue, and you are interested in potentially working with my team and I, schedule a call with us below. I'd love to hop on a call with you and talk about your brand a little bit and see if we could work together. But outside of that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope this video helped. Thanks.